Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It is your favorite dark sorcerer here. And today, I'd like to bring something up to your attention because I think it's time to kind of update on what I've been doing. As you know, I've been performing some candle meditations, pyromancy practices with a black scrying mirror. I've also been doing a lot of conjurations and studies and practices within Haitian Voodoo, Palo Mayombe, Santeria, and now Brujeria as a practicing necromancer. And I found a lot of great stuff and a lot of great materials that cohabitate within these systems. A lot of these systems can be traced back to Africa, not just through the Caribbean traditions, but the more purest forms that I found are from Haitian Voodoo and Cuban, Santeria and Palo. But what's interesting to note is that these are probably the closest thing to the African practices that are out there. So lately, Papa Gedi has been on my mind, El Diablo has been on my mind, and Oya has been on my mind, not just Baron Samedi and Baroness Dambella. So I've been thinking about this the last couple of days while I've been in orientation at my new job. And it's quite apparent that these doors have opened because of these spirits. So what's in when these spirits talk, I tend to listen. So the fact that all of them are leading me into areas like today, I was sitting there watching these videos through orientation on blood sorcery. Blood sorcery or hemomancy, okay, is a form of magical practice using blood sorcery, blood magic, okay? And as some of you may know as practitioners of the dark arts, black magic, baneful sorcery, blood sorcery is one of the most powerful forms of sorcery out there. It goes as far back as ancient Greek and Nicaea, ancient Egyptian. I'm talking first, second, and third dynasty of the Shem priests through the Egyptian Book of the Dead. And this isn't just in that, it's also throughout the African Caribbean traditions in general, not just the European traditions. Hell, even if you get into the mainstream JCI, the Judo Christian institutions, and you get into their Bible, you're going to see human and animal sacrifices. Blood sorcery being one of the primary things in the book of Leviticus. And you read up on the tabernacle and where these burnt offerings go and how they are arrayed upon the tabernacle itself. You'll notice that the blood is placed in a vial and it's placed on the main altar in front of the head priest who stands before their god. Okay. Now, in necromancy, it's a whole nother thing because we can use the blood of animals or we can use our own blood. Okay, it depends on what part of the world you're in and what the legal system allows you to do. You know, from a legal standpoint, there are things that are considered illegal to own. That hasn't really stopped a lot of practitioners, you know, thanks to the Constitution. That's all I got to say there. But um, so anyways, all of this stuff has been on my mind and it's been right up in my face. I'm working in a kitchen. Okay. So here we are watching videos on blood sorcery, pathogens, chemicals, you name it. I mean, if you're into alchemy, you're going to be knowing about poisons, you're going to be knowing about different types of chemicals, especially if you're into chemistry. And so, I mean, when you become a serious adept or a serious practitioner in any one of these systems, or even the ones I haven't mentioned, you're going to find that this stuff is relevant. And when you petition spirits to lead you into the areas needed, you're going to be surprised when those doors open. And if you're not paying attention, they will put it right up in your face. Now, as you know, I tend to pay attention when the spirits talk. And so I'm right there. So I mean, right out of the blue, the last couple of days, I mean, we're talking Alzheimer's yesterday in a video, and today it's blood, sorcery, pantheons, chemicals, and it's like, yep, there's some alchemy coming in my future here. I can guarantee it. It's just right there in your face, and it's apparent. So I've decided, since these spirits, have been on my mind lately, I'm going to do a blood pact with them. And since I've made blood pacts with Lucifer, I've made blood pacts with Beelzebub, and most importantly, Astaroth and Asmodeus, the Nine Kings, and a few others. You know, it's interesting to see where the Gadi family and the Petro family come into play within the Loa. Anybody who studies or practices Voodoo will know that the how should I say this? The Rada family is like the first class Loa. Think of the Grigori and angelology. Same exact thing. They're the first class, beings created by the big almighty good God, so to speak. Be it Yahweh, Allah, whatever. In Voodoo, it would be Bandai or Bondi. Okay, so seeing where this is going into play, and the Rada family of Loa being the top of the food chain, and then you have the Petro family of Loa, which would be classified as, say, for example, demons, jinn, genies, stuff like that. The baneful spirits, the ones that are looked down upon. That's basically what they would be. And then you have the Radi family. According to occultism, they would be like the witches, the Nephilim, the half breeds, whatever you want to call them. So when we look into the Gadi family, this is where the family of Loa comes into play that doesn't have ancestral lineage. Okay, so this would be basically in demonology, if we follow Francis Barrett's perspective from the Magus. Um, they would be like the Nephilim or the witches who listen to the demons and make pacts with the demons. So we know that Papa Gadi was put in place by Baron Samedi. Okay, the Baron himself put made this man into a saint, made him the head of the Gadi family. That's pretty awesome. Even working with the lords and ladies of death, like Anubis or Hell, getting into Persephone, Hades, going into Oya in Santeria, okay, and through the works of black magic and sorcery, things that were considered and condemned by the Catholicism, monotheistic and polytheistic times, the Renaissance, the Holy Wars, the dominating JCI, all of this stuff has warped much of the community, and a lot of it's been watered down due to the interaction with different cultures. So I think that the Cuban and Haitian systems are, just from my own studies and interactions, not just the practices in these systems over the last few months, are mostly the most purest state outside of Africa. Okay. Now, since I've been heavily influenced by Brujeria, I found the terminology El Necromante the necromancer, which is basically a title given to a practitioner who conjures spirits, works with spirits, working with El Diablo, the devil. Okay. So a lot of this stuff has really been coming into play lately. And like I said, now you got hemo mancy and you got you know chemicals and all this stuff coming into play. Yeah, these spirits are definitely wanting something to happen. And over the next week or two, I'm going to be getting heavily into rituals and I'm going to be summoning all of them so I can make a personalized pact with them and go from there. So, um, Lord Zuluk 666 says, "Why do I keep seeing things about pacts?" Well, there's most likely a reason for that. Perhaps one of the spirits that you've been working with or hesitant to work with is trying to reach out to you. Look at what's going on in your life. If something's going on in your life that you're trying to make happen, something that's kind of weird but kind of influence, look at that spirit. What is it capable of doing? For example, if you're trying to persuade men's minds, you'd go with Paimon, King Paimon. If you're looking for wrath or desire, you'd go with Asmodeus. You know, the executioner Alistar, or maybe necromantic rites, dealing with spirits, dealing with say Bifrost or Murmur. Okay, so look at what's going on in your life and what the signs are. Then look at the spirits and say, what spirit is trying to contact me? I invite you into my chamber and see, what's going on there. So that's some things for you to do. And that's most likely what's going on is a spirit's most likely trying to contact you, wanting to make a pact to help further your career into black magic, sorcery. Men like gods. It's good to see you, bro, my friend. Ank Starseed Root Witch. Welcome back to the channel. Pharaoh Stiller X. Welcome to the channel. A patron link. I do not have one. Basically, I have a couple pages on Facebook that I go to that I have. One is in Angelus, Son of Abaddon. One actually, it's called Angelus, Dark Sorcerer, and the other one is called the Satanic Warlock. Those are basically the two pages that I post on the most. It's especially on Facebook because it deals with kind of like a journal for me, but it's also a way for those who follow me on Facebook to go in and see what's been posted and actually learn from it. You can ask questions, post likes or not, like or not, whatever, that type of stuff. Outside of that, I have an Instagram page, I have a Timber page, and a TikTok page, and obviously YouTube and Facebook. So the Instagram page is actually quite new. So there's really not much there. I just set it up a few days ago. I finally broke down. It's like, you know what? So one thing I haven't gotten on. So I figured, what the hell, I'd get on it. So I do have an Instagram page now. So for control, well, it comes down to your perception of what you are looking for in your life. For an example, if you're looking for to better yourself, I would recommend letting the spirits of the underworld work on you. But just invite them in and say, hey, if it's for me, I want it, but if it's not, I don't want it. Ask them and petition them to get rid of, the drama in your life or things that you don't need in your life. Okay. If you're interested in authority matters, I would go with Belial, Belial, For an example, he bestows titles and authority. He's also one of the nine kings that is literally feared. He's got a lot of power. Um, Authority, I would go with Lucifer, perhaps Mephistopheles, Chernobog, maybe, if you're interested in that. And if you're interested in Slavic witchcraft, Chernobog is known as the dark god in Slavic witchcraft. That's something for you to look into. Um, Egyptian witchcraft, sorcery, you have Set. Norse, you have Loki, Hel, or Helios, as she's called, goddess of the underworld, goddess of the dead. But outside of that, I would look at the definition of what you're looking into for control. Is it emotional control? Is it mental control? Is it physical control? Is it something that's going on in your life that you're trying to gain control over? Look at the spirits and what they're capable of doing. Okay, that's what I would recommend to you, Huey Newton. And you're welcome, Lord Zulak 666. Okay, but for me, that's what I basically that's what I'm doing right now. These systems have played a huge, huge, you know, how should I say this? They've had a very, very huge impact in my life. So, in my studies, and a lot of people have seen a huge, huge and massive change within me over the last couple of years since I stepped foot into necromancy through the Cabal, um, but also through my own studies and practices. And the closer that I've become to the spirits, my patroness, my patrons, those who I work with quite heavily and extensively through the rites and rituals that I've been performing, there's a lot going on. And I've seen a huge improvement within my practices in the world as applications. My new job is the latest one. So take it for what it is. And it's a blessing from the spirits. They work with you as long as you're doing the work yourself. So that's always a good thing. And you're welcome, Huey. So with that said, that's what I wanted to say. I will say that I will be on a podcast later tonight around 10 o'clock Eastern time. It's basically 9 o'clock the other guys time, so it's about an hour difference. So when it comes 9 o'clock for him, it'll be 10 o'clock for me. So you can find it on Facebook. His name's Joan, and he runs the Shadow Zone, and he's bringing me on tonight to chit chat about Brujeria. So feel free to join in on that. That is on Facebook. You can actually look into that yourselves and take notes. All right. Have a good one. And until next time, I'm out. I want to, but before I do, I want to say thank you to Lord Zulok, 666, Men Like Gods, Ank, Starseed, Root Witch, Pharaoh Stiller X, Huey Newton. Thanks for coming on with me. And I will keep all of you updated on what transpires through these latest rituals and rites. Okay? Not just the pacts that I'll be making. I won't be showing the pact that I'm doing, but I will kind of just give you an update on what's going on and how it's going on. I am going to be working tomorrow at my new job, so I won't be around until later in the afternoon. Okay? It is 8 p.m. where I am, so keeping that in mind. I have to be to work at 6 a.m. So it's going to be an awesome shift. I look forward to the challenges coming up, getting to know my new staff members, the new my fellow coworkers, and a few of them I already know as it is because I used to work with them at Dunkin'. But the challenges are coming with a whole new set of things. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm happy as a clam and excited. So, all right, have a good night and hopefully see you on that podcast. If not, I'll see you down the road.